Good morning, everybody. My name is Dave Finale, and this is Real Estate Talk TGIF. This is episode 340, and it's 336 weeks in a row. I will keep going until I can't any longer. And I had my friend and my leader of my team today saying, "I can't believe you're doing a broadcast today." Today happens to be a very special day for me, and the Finale family is where my daughter's getting married. So we're going to have a great day today. That's why we're doing this early today rather than 11, because I've got strict rules. And guys, if you want to believe it, you know what? My daughter's very good with spreadsheets, and this is my timeline today. Holy crap. I don't believe that, but that's what it is. So anyway, here we are. We've got the great international speaker, Ed Stulak, with us today. We're going to talk social media. We're going to talk about being human beings. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. But first, the video.
Real estate agents, are you looking to acquire clients consistently to grow your business and income for a great lifestyle? Well, this is Dave Finale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and the Modern Agent team.
Good morning, everybody. Again, this is Real Estate Talk TGIF, episode 340. We're doing this live from Jersey City, New Jersey today, rather than my studio. And we're just really thrilled to have Ed Stulak on with us today. Ed is, he's a New Jersey boy, licensed real estate agent, international speaker, author, social media innovator. He's worked with he has over 88,000 followers on his social, and it's growing. I mean, the man has been on stages with guys like Ryan Serhant, Tom Ferry, and many, many others. He's just a guy that hustles and likes to have a lot of fun, and doesn't take, just like me, I take things seriously, but it's got to be fun, right? It's just got to be fun. Ed, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for the intro, for taking your time out of your daughter's most important day to spend it with me for a few minutes and chatting. So thank you for having me on. I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, man. We've had the greats, and we just continue to have the greats on. From John Cheplak to Ed Stulak to local realtors to, so many. And I'm very fortunate and very grateful to be able to do that. As we get going today, Ed, I start out with everybody with the same question. And I'm going to tell you that 90% of the people do get it wrong. So don't worry. There's no pressure at all. The question is, what does TGIF stand for?
TGIF. The most basic one top of mind comes, thank God it's Friday.
You're right. You're right. And that's what most people say. But would be, for this broadcast purpose, you would be wrong.
Right.
It is, thank God it's Finale. There's no reason why we can't do it any other way. It's my broadcast. It's my show, 340 of them. Thank God it's Finale. And we are here to bring some great stuff today. The idea of this broadcast, which is brought to you by me, Real Estate Skill Builder, Align, which is the real estate solutions group I work with Brett Sikora being our leader and CEO. And our idea and our journey is to bring as much information forward to as many real estate agents, mortgage people, business people that we can to support them in growing their business. We only want to help people, and that's what I'm trying to do, is give back here. So all that being said, what we're doing, Ed, talk to me about your journey. You were not always that international speaker. You were not always that author of this great book, Expose Yourself. You were not always that. But tell me, how did you get from there to here?
It all started, from my parents' vision, really. Those that can relate that are listening, if you are an immigrant, or maybe you have immigrant parents or family members that you're, really carrying their baton and just moving forward with, my parents were the ones that said, we have an American dream. We want to go to America, get our first house, find that job, have our kid go to school, college, be a doctor, right? That was my parents.
Right.
To me, I'm like, as an only child, I'm thinking, well, they're putting all this money into me. They're putting time into me. I should probably listen to them.
Right.
So I did for a long time. So I went into pre-med. I went and I was recruited for Penn State ice hockey. I was playing, I was studying, and neither of those journeys was really going for me the way I wanted it to. So I started failing pre-med. I got injured in hockey. Sales were setting for a different direction. And for the first time when I was around 18 years old, 19, for the first time, life kind of poked at me and said, what do you want to do? And I never had anything in life really ask me that before, because it was always parents, mom and dad saying, this is the way you're going to do it, because this is our vision.
Right.
For
Right.
the first time, I said, what am I going to do? And I had this fancy phone thing back in college when I was playing on Instagram, and Instagram was brand new. Facebook has been around for a little bit. Then this thing called Vine came out, 6-second videos, and I was playing with it all, and I was having a blast. And I developed some skills with social media, and I learned quickly when I was around that 18, 19 years old mark, 11 years, 12 years ago now. And I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm thinking, this is how people are getting known today.
Right.
Influencers are starting to grow because of these platforms. There's businesses that are starting to grow because of these social media apps. How do I become one of them? So I started learning a little bit about social media, started growing this new skill set, sharpening this new sword, and one thing led to another. One influencer reached out to me, another one reached out to me and said, Ed, can you create us content? Can you help us with our social media? Because we see what you're doing. Can you do it for us? And of course, I didn't have a job at that time. It was definitely not pre-med. So I'm like, yeah, I need a job, I need money. If social media could bring me money, that would be awesome. And I remember my first client ever. He was in charge of a very big Instagram account, still existent today. And he said, listen, he had about like 400,000 followers at that time, which was big in 2015, 16, right? And he said, Ed, I'll give you $100 if you can make me 20 pieces of content every month. And I'm thinking, $100 for content? I could do this all day long. Let's go. And so that was my first gig ever. And then the next gig came along. This broker reached out to me. His name is Gene. Gene Krutansky, actually, big shout out. I know that Brett and them, their whole, the whole world and community. So big shout out to Gene. But Gene reached out to me, and he was with Remax at the time, and he said, Ed, I will pay you if you teach me about Instagram. I said, really? I asked my mom. I'm like, Mom, I might have my first client. She said, that's great. So I charged Gene, like, I don't even know, $200 bucks. And I was with him for 4 hours, just diving in on social media. Long story short of this whole thing, of this journey, is that I really sharpened my social media iron and that sword. And now a lot of people were asking, can you sharpen ours?
Right.
And when I got into real estate, I realized that a lot of agents, a lot of real estate professionals also need their sword sharpened, more than most out there, I must say. So when I got into real estate early on in 2016, 17, I was that realtor, that rookie realtor doing social media. But a lot of people were asking me, can you help me do my own thing? So this is where the book idea came from. How can you expose yourself? This is where I became this Instagram coach or this Instagram innovator to come to me and reach out. Ed, how do you do things? And I'm so happy to help others. It's not like I'm looking to grow this huge, I'm not trying to become a Tony Robbins, but I'm very happy that people can use me as a source of inspiration, or maybe someone to poke at and just say, can you help me with whatever you're doing? I want to do a little bit of that. That's where this all came from. It was more so parents' vision turned into what I want to actually do. What are my desires? And then me pursuing those desires with solving a problem that I feel like a lot of industries run into. So, and now, of course, I'm a realtor as well, selling houses. So that's a little quick story.
Right. So you take it and you go into real estate. Now, the reason you got into real estate was it just makes sense because you started helping people in real estate. Is that what it is?
I got into real estate because I saw the fancy watches, the fancy suits, the nice houses, and I'm thinking, it looks like you can make money in that industry. Let me do that. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody looks at it. You see the fancy stuff, right? And there's such a history of the toys that we all have and we all like to get, and we get that commission check and we spend too much after the first commission check, and we do that. I mean, that's just how the industry is, unfortunately, but it's changing, right? So Talk to me about social media and how you work it into your business, or how it worked into your business so that you could grow a business.
The way I look at social media is that it's a drug. You can either take advantage of that drug or have the drug take advantage of you. And I do actually a fun riddle that I once heard. Did you know, Dave, that there are two industries in this world that consider their consumers as users? What are those two industries?
Consumers as users. Go ahead.
Drug users and social media users.
Yes.
There's no other users in I don't unless I'm
No,
missing.
I agree with you. I mean, it's funny. I was reading a book when I was at the gym this morning on Audible, Fanatical Prospecting, and it talks. It just, I mean, it happened just about talk about social media that way as well.
Mm-hmm. And so that's the perspective that one should take upon social media. It's either taking advantage of you and your time and your life, or you do the opposite. So I looked at social media and I go on there. Yeah, I scroll. Yeah, I engage. Yeah, I watch some silly videos that I probably shouldn't, but I do. I consume to understand what to create. So I have this mindset of if I'm going to go into social media and I'm going to dive in as a consumer, I'm consuming to entertain myself, but mostly to research and development, right? R&D. Let me
Right.
see what people are doing. Let me see what influencers are creating. Let me see what the models are doing. Let me see what the influencers are doing. Let me see what other realtors are creating. Let me see what other industries are coming up with. And then let me go ahead back to the drawing board. Now let me go ahead and write down my own thoughts. And let me create my own content. So I consume to create, and then I create to understand, have others consume. That's one aspect of this whole social media usage. The second one is, of course, exposure. This is, after all, why I named the book "Expose Yourself," because a lot of industries, we all want exposure. That's just the simple truth.
Right.
From this
Right.
coffee mug company to book sales to paintings to walls to light fixtures to mechanics to musicians, we all want exposure. We need more exposure and more attention. Okay, so how do you capture more exposure in today's world? You could do billboards. You could do guerrilla marketing. You can go out there and hammer away, door knocking, door mailers, postcards, cold calling. You could do all that. And I'm not saying don't. I'm saying there are other ways to expose yourself in today's world that are a little cheaper, that are a little bit more effective, a lot more effective, to be honest. You could do the billboard, but I'd rather do social media. So now how
But
do you
social media is a billboard.
social media is a billboard. It's a virtual billboard. It's a billboard that people are driving by with their eyes while there are commercials on the TV, while they are in the bathroom, while they are at a conference. They are on social media and they're scrolling and they see you posting something that's a billboard. So the social media thing, this is how I tell people to really take advantage of it, is by posting valuable stuff, entertaining stuff, things that are actually going to make someone pull over for a second, right? Pull their thumb over to the side for a second and just sit back and consume. Whether it's a 30-second video or a 3-minute video, it's got to be good. So yeah, there's a little bit of math and a little bit of science behind what you create, but don't not create. And there's a lot of people, even those that are listening and watching, that do not create because they're afraid or they're whatever their hesitations are.
So when I make the statement about video, about content, about people afraid, as you just said, when I say to an agent who doesn't want to do video, or I suck at video, I love the line. It's been going on for years and years. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. My answer to that is get over it. Right. I mean, I've been doing video for 16, 17 years. I still have my very first video, which is on my YouTube channel. It's still there all the way at the bottom, and I show it to people from time to time. I tried to be funny. You can see the quality of it sucked, and I thought it was pretty good, but still, the thing is when I say to an agent, and you please criticize this, your shitty video is better than your competition's non-video.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you just said it's got to be good, but is something better than nothing or no?
Yes, something is absolutely better than nothing. Posting, you don't know what's going to blow up today.
Right.
These algorithms are so out of whack that you cannot assume that a good video is going to blow up versus a bad one not blowing up. Sometimes it's very opposite. Sometimes it's that quick video that you make in the living room at 3 a.m. because a video idea hit your mind and you're like, I just got to put it together as an idea and I'll film it better tomorrow. And then you post it because you say, screw it. And you wake up to 19,000 views. That's my example. That's what I did once. I was in a commercial, it hit me, and I posted it because screw it. I'm in my pajamas, whatever. I don't care. I don't look good, fine. But I posted it, and that's the one that blew up. That's the one that got me a lead. Why? There's no rhyme or reason. But
well, that's the whole thing. Everybody says, well, what do I do? What kind of content do I do? I mean, look, there's so many things that you can do. You know, realtors. Okay, let's just stay there. You know, what do I post? Well, what's the last question a buyer asked you? I mean, we're talking about, you know, I think the most important one for a realtor is one way or the other, rather than standing and teaching someone, have an educational post. And I'm going to ask you I'm going to ask you that in a second about who our competition is and what we should be doing online, right? But educational, people want to say, well, how do I do that? Well, you know, just talk about what you do. You know, then there's the day in the life and stuff that I mean, that's what probably the hardest video or the hardest content to post is, you know, lifestyle. So for you, when we talk about content, right? Our competition, you basically say that there's 5 elements. Talk about that for me.
So I say there are 5 elements that really help you blow up with some content in some shape or form. And those 5 things that really sell, like what sells, right? What captures attention? So I say education, entertainment, animals, children, babies, and then lastly, sex.
That's right. Sex sells, they say, right? And I always said, as I said to you the other day, your competition is babies, booties, and dogs.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is. And it's true. I mean, you know, just go on your feed and you tell me if we're wrong. We're not.
That's right.
So talk to me about those 5 elements.
Knowing that if you utilize any of those 5 in your content, the odds are much higher for that video to go somewhere and do something for you that you're really hoping for that it does. Meaning, how many of these questions are asked internally or maybe with your friends? You know, what do I post to blow up? How do I create the next piece of content so I get viral? I want viral content. How do I get more followers? You know, these are, we're telling you right now, like if you can utilize any of these 5 or maybe multiple, you can use 2 of these in your content, use 3 of them.
Right.
There's, for example, a reason why I posted when I was promoting my book, you know, Expose Yourself. There was a reason why I posted it in a suit with my pants off, right? Because I was exposing myself and I had the book right in front of, you know, where it is, right? And I know that was sex and that was a little bit of obnoxious entertainment. That was, wow, did it catch attention? And I didn't do it because, you know, that's the, I don't know, because it's sexy in a sense. I knew people were going to talk about it. I know people were going to turn their head, maybe squint their eyes, like, really, this is what he's doing. But there were other people that were so impressed with it. And I'm happy that it caused commotion. In today's world, if you're not creating content that causes a little bit of a head tilt and maybe an eyebrow raise and like, or eyes open, you know, you have some work to do. You have to do something a little different in today's world. It doesn't have to be sexy. It could be funny,
right?
Entertaining. It could be emotional. It could be touching the hearts of others. It could inspire. It can motivate. This is what I mean by that element of, or that variable of entertainment. It doesn't just have to be funny. I create skits because I'm a funny guy. I like humor. I'm a charismatic person. Like I want to put that out there. I don't want to always be stone-faced, as you were saying in the beginning, right? We know how to be stone-faced, but we also know how to turn up the notch and have fun. You
Right.
got
Well, that's the important part about it. I mean, everybody looks at it so like, oh wow, I got to get this content done. Look, as I'm sure you do, is I have a schedule as to what I have to do and what I have to post. I'm very fortunate. I have some support in doing it, and that's how I've chosen to do it. And when we talk about, you mentioned cold calling, you mentioned all different ways of generating business in the real estate industry. Let's talk about that as social media as a lead gen strategy. Now, I want to start this as saying that my philosophy and yours might be a little bit different, but I know that mine works and I know that yours works. So mine is really simple, is I believe in the picking up the phone. I believe in the call metrics, but I also believe that you need to have a social media presence. And if you're not going to have a social media presence today in the real estate industry, I think you want to find another place to go make money. Simply because, people say, well, I don't want to go on Facebook. I don't want to go on Instagram. I want to stick on Instagram and I want to do TikTok videos. Good for you, but I think you should be on Facebook. Why? Well, let me ask you a question. Are you going to fish in the desert or are you going to fish in the ocean? Why are you going to fish in the ocean? Because that's where the fish are, right? I believe it's a support and it verifies who you are. Go ahead. Talk to me about lead gen.
Everyone's got their own, as you just said. You have your cold calling, you have that, you know your strengths, and there are so many tools in your tool belt. Now, I'm a hockey guy, so I'm going to reference this. McDavid from the Oilers. McDavid is a phenomenal player. He's got hands like no other. He knows how to get around everyone and the defenders and the goalie and put the puck in the net. He's just very good at his skill set. If you put him on defense, you are taking away his strength. You are taking away one of the biggest advocates of the forward position, the person that is actually going to win the game. You're going to put him on defense unless you're really forced to do it and you have to do it. Fine, do it, but utilize your strength. Meaning, you could do cold calling, you could do door knocking, you could do all that stuff. I'm not saying don't, but if you have a strength that you've acquired or run into day after day, week after week, year after year, and you realize, oh my God, I'm looking at my numbers. I got the most conversions from Instagram, from TikTok, from Facebook, from YouTube, from cold calling. Do that. Mine just happens to be social media. So it's not like I'm saying don't cold call. I've done it and I'll do it again if I have to. Right? If I have to, that's my choice of words.
Right.
I get a lot of referrals from Instagram. I get a lot of agents reaching out to me. So why would I stop that train? If I know how to put the puck in the net, let me put the puck in the net.
Right.
So mine is social media. Now, how do I actually do it? What do I do on social media to actually convert business and get deals done? I was just telling my partner the other day, I'm like, I'm so happy that I can showcase once again $1.3 million in sales because of an Instagram lead. This was a lady that's been following me for years, and she reached out to me and she said, Ed, I've been following you for years. I knew that you were going to be the realtor when the time came. The time has come. Sell my property and help me buy. Sold her place for $520,000. We're under contract now for $730,000. That's really cool that I can say that because of Instagram, the nonsense that I do. So how did that all happen though? From content that I post, for sure. I know that content intrigued her somehow to say, oh, this guy is cool or different or unique or valuable. Number two, I'm consistent with it. So it's not like I posted yesterday and then you're never going to see me post again for another 5 weeks or 8 weeks. I am posting every day. So I'm always that billboard that we were talking about in front of her without actually jamming it down her throat.
Right.
Number three, I get personable with my followers that I have. I get very close with them. So I reach out to them with a video message. I engage on their stuff. If they take the time and love and give me the love and support out of their day, why wouldn't I give it back to them if I can? So I do. And I reach out to them and I say, how can I help you? I'll send a book to one of my loyal followers, let's call them. I have one follower that's been following me for about 8 years now. She's down in Florida, big supporter, always messaging me stuff. I want to send her a care package. I want to send her a hoodie and shirts. And hey, I'm thinking of you as you've been thinking of me for 8 years. Thank you. Whether that's 8 years or 8 days, I mean, you can get personable with your followers, your community. Because another thing is retainment. Are you going to retain these people or are they going to slip up and unfollow a year from now? So I do a combination of these things by reaching out and connecting with the people I already have in my corner. And then, of course, I'll say the last part, the thing that I actually do to get new business. So what do I do to get new business on Instagram? Gary Vee has a thing called the $1.80 strategy. I call it follow farming, right? Follow farming, which is also in the book, chapter 7.
Yep.
Follow farming is simply by reaching out to the community that you want to be selling in. So, okay, how do I do that, Ed? If you go on the hashtags in the search engine of Instagram, you can search the town or the city or the location that you want to be selling real estate in. In my case, it's Somerville, New Jersey. And I'll type that in and I'll start engaging with everyone that has ever used that hashtag. Engaging by liking their stuff, commenting on their stuff, going on their profile, looking at their story, and sending them a message. And I'll reach out to them, even if it's someone I don't know. Let's just say you, Dave. I don't know you, but I saw that you posted hashtag Somerville, New Jersey. I'll reach out to you and say, Dave, it's so cool to connect. My name is Ed. I stumbled upon your page. I saw that you also used the hashtag Somerville, New Jersey. I was just engaging with locals. Listen, from local to local, if there's anything I can ever do for you, I don't know what that's going to be, but consider me a friend. Consider me a local you can count on. Good to connect with you. Ciao. And we'll see what happens. But like, that's what I do to start conversations. That's the way to take advantage of social media as opposed to the opposite.
So I want everybody to hear what you just said. I want you to rewind the video to when he started. And here's why I say that. Because I talk to tons of agents. That's my job, to grow agents, right? I'm the growth manager of the team. So my job is to grow agents, right? And everybody says, well, you know what? I don't want to make the calls, and that's fine. I'm going to use social media. I say, great. So my next question is going to be, how are you going to use social media? Well, I'm posting this and I'm working on a video for next week and all this other stuff. Fantastic. Okay. So how are you engaging? How are you interacting with the people out there? I don't use the word audience yet. And they say, well, you know, when they see my stuff, they'll comment on my stuff. Okay, great. So how long will it be before you start looking for a full-time job? I don't say that, I think that. And here's why. You just gave the entire case of social media engagement, which is one of the things that, I mean, this is how you get people to know. You commented on stuff. You DM'd people, right? You know, so cool to meet you, so cool to connect. What happens, everybody, just so you know, is when they see that, they come back at you, you're now in them. They now see your stuff. Not only that, there's a really good chance they're going to go to your profile. And now they're going to engage with you even more without you even knowing it. They're going to get eyeballs on you, which is really important for your profile to have, you know, who you are, what you do, what is your I do, what is your prospect, what do you do, and some contact info. This is the entire science, Ed, what you just explained. Am I right in what I just said?
I would say so. I'm sure there's more, but you know what? This is a big bundle of what people don't do. They neglect it, or they know they have to do it, but they just, I don't know, I have other things to do. That's fine. I'm just going to keep sharpening my iron because I know it's working. I'm going to keep going.
Exactly. And you've got a chapter in the book called The Art of the DMs. Talk to me about that a little bit.
The art of the DMs. Yeah. So if you're sending spammy type of messages to random people or to people that you even if you know them, you can mess things up so badly. You know, you got to do it right. You got to do it effectively. You got to do it in a nice, sweet way for someone to actually want to respond to what you just said.
Right.
So, for example, I cannot, if I go to my Instagram right now into my requested DMs or DMs that are just coming in, I get so many of those. Hey, Ed, I see what you're doing with social media. It's really awesome. But like, my team specializes in giving you more exposure and more attention, and we can help you really build up more followers. Let us know if you're interested. I block them so fast.
All the time.
Unbelievable. And I don't know who out there actually says, let me do this. I just don't know who actually says, yeah, I'm interested. It's a spammy message, and I don't like it. I actually do the very opposite of what I tell them. So many things that I shouldn't say out loud. But the point is, that's a bad message. That's a bad DM to send to someone you've never engaged with.
Right.
Dave, I know you now. We've connected once before on Zoom. We've chatted now. We're messaging, we're emailing, right? Like now we have a friendship.
Right.
This is now my next step is how do I retain this friendship? How do I make sure that I'm actually a valuable asset to Dave and the Finale group and the community? Like how to Brett Sikora, how can I be more valuable to you guys? So now I'm thinking, okay, well, let me be on top of them in some shape or form. Let me send them a message. Let me send them a video. Let me just say, hey, random things. Just, hey, Dave, I'm here for you. Hey, Dave, you looking to connect with some other speakers? I have a friend. You know,
Right.
Like now I'm trying to figure out ways to help you better. And that's where I don't feel like people are doing on social media. They're doing the very opposite, meaning I'm a real estate professional. I'm a salesperson. I got to get sales. So let me reach out to the first person that likes my stuff and send them a message saying, hey, my name is Ed. I'm a realtor. Are you looking to buy or sell today? Oh, that's not the DM that is going to do anything for you. The one that will do something for you is the one that I said before, which is, hey, Dave, what's going on? I saw you like my stuff. Listen, I'm just reaching out personally to say, nice to meet you. By the way, I see this Align thing. I don't know what that's about, but I would love to learn a little bit more about it. I see that, your daughter's a wedding day today. That's amazing. Listen, congratulations to you and the family. Listen, if there's anything I can ever do, let me know. I'm here for you. I said, and if you dissect what I just said, I said, Dave, I said, Align, I said, daughter's wedding day. And I said 3 things that are going to touch you and make you smile or make you say, whoa, this guy put some work into this.
That's right.
That's the art of the DM that people don't do.
Right. And I want to take it to old school. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that I do an awful lot when I'm calling people and talking to people is not only will I connect with people on social, but I'll send a handwritten note. Okay. Yes. The handwritten note is an art form and it's easy. It's 3 sentences, man. It's thanks so much for your time on the phone or great seeing you on social or whatever it was. The next one is what you just said, something you talked about to make them know that you listened to them. And the next one is whatever you're going to do, whether, I look forward to talking to you when I said I would call you in a couple of weeks or whatever it is. But the DM, the comment is that handwritten note, but through social, right? So when I talk about you start with, for me, I'm going to start with the phone call, the FISBO, whatever it is, but I'm backed up on social media, right? I am there. I am on it. Every day there's something new of me coming out. You talked about Gary Vee, the $1.80. Just to extend that, it says give you 2 cents 90 times a day. That's the Gary Vee, the Gary Vee philosophy. Because you have a chapter in your book about when to post, how much to post, right? Talk to me about that, because everybody says, well, when I get to it or whatever. Talk to me about that, which is just follow up on what we're talking about.
Yes. When to post is another common question. Ed, when do I post? How often do I post? Where do I post? These are common questions, and it's okay. I ask myself that too. Like, am I posting enough? Am I posting too much? I don't think there's too much posting if it's valuable or entertaining. It's just a matter of the formula better align. The formula better align if it's not, because if you're posting too much, and all of a sudden it's good content, but then you run out, right? You have a rainy day and you have nothing to post. You're going to kind of screw up what you're building momentum towards, which is, oh, Jerry is posting good, and really consistently. Wow, at 3 times a week. That's awesome. What happened? What happened? It's February. He hasn't posted in 4 weeks. That's odd. That's not Jerry. And now all of a sudden the next video you post is not as strong. You jeopardize your integrity and the brand that you started building good momentum with. All of a sudden goes downhill because you posted way too much. Good, but way too much. I believe in physics. I say that if something goes up that fast, it goes down that fast. So you got to spread out a little bit. Have good content ready to go, but post it as often as you think you can. And I know a lot of these YouTube masters out there. I have a bunch of good friends that are doing well with it. They say they post once a week or maybe twice a week. But do you know how hard it is to be posting YouTube videos and good ones at that? Ones that are not boring, ones that are engaging and entertaining. It's a lot of work. This is why a lot of people aren't successful on platforms like YouTube. There's an algorithm and a rhythm to that. So the second that they stop posting, it's going to screw things up. So when to post? In terms of numbers, for those that want numbers, I would say if you're posting around 3 to 5 Instagram stories a day, that's pretty good. Spread out throughout the day. Some people are probably asking right now, damn, Ed, no way, stop. Give me something else. It's okay. It's not the most impossible thing to do. Just go on your stories. It could be you. It could be a picture of yourself. It could be a video of yourself. It could be a video of a property. It could be a repost of something else. It could be, oh, Dave posted something really valuable today. Let me repost that. That's a story. You don't have to overthink that. But if you're posting about 3 to 5 times a day and spread out, meaning morning, late afternoon, dinner time, one at night, okay, you spread out. That's good. Those are stories. How about reels? I would say between 3 to 5-ish reels a week as well. I would say if you can be posting 3+ reels a week, that's pretty good too. And I know that's a lot. That's more work to do. I get it. But we're talking things that work on Instagram, and I'm telling you, these are things that are working. So when to post? Throughout the week. Post throughout the week as much as you can. But again, just keep that in mind. If you're going to be posting too much, just make sure it never falls downhill.
Yeah, the important part about stories really, and it's really pretty simple, is what's going on during your day. I mean, I posted a couple of things already today. One is the setup that I've got in the hotel room. I got a table on top of a table and a stand. So it's kind of crazy. I've been on top of garbage cans in hotel rooms before. This just happened to work. The second table was very heavy. But, I mean, it's just what's going on. I mean, my nephew said he'd meet me in the gym at 6 o'clock this morning. He didn't show. So I took a video of an empty workout room and said, where are you, man? So, I mean, it's just like, get a thought, just do it. And you know what? Don't worry about it. I mean, if it's a story, it's going to be going tomorrow anyway, right? And you've got that. And here's the thing that what I like about story content, Ed, is that I can take that content later on and make it a post, right? I can put a good caption to it, or I can do something else with it. All this content, and you take pictures all the time on this thing, right? There's a lot of great content on your phone you don't even know about.
That's right. That's a good one too. You got a whole library of stuff that you haven't even posted, that you filmed and you completely forgot about. Yeah, look into that.
and that leads me to taking that content on your phone, Ed, a picture of the gym or whatever, So I posted something yesterday, and it was kind of a joke picture. I'm not going to go into it, but I asked a question, right? So you can ask questions with your post too. But there's also telling the story of that post, of that picture, or of that video. And there's a chapter in your book about storytelling. Talk to me about that.
Storytelling is a big component to one's personal brand's success that I don't want to say people neglect. I just don't think people put enough time or emphasis into understanding their own story.
Right.
There's people, and I've been even told this once before, a few years ago, as a matter of fact. And my buddy, Tim said, dude, you keep saying the same thing on stage, when you speak, but you don't necessarily lead with a story. You have a story. What is your story? My story. What's my story? I mean, I started it off with this chat with you. I was saying that a pre-med student, hockey player, turned into social media advocate, now turned into realtor, author. But there's a story in that all. So storytelling, what is your story? What is your beginnings? What is it now? What is it in between? That needs to be shared with people because people probably have a similar one. I'm not the only one that was a college dropout that failed school and got injured in sports. I'm not. There's people that relate to that. If you can create more stories that are relevant as well and portray it in a very relevant way for your consumers to consume and your audience to really comprehend, the better they're going to create conversations with you because they know what to talk about with you. I said before, I'm a hockey guy. I say that on podcasts because I'm hoping someone from this is going to say, I'm a hockey guy too. I can talk to Ed. I also was injured. I also went to school in something. Let me relate and talk to him. I could probably pick up on the cookie crumbs that he's left behind and kind of go the venture where he's going with his business or brand. I want to chat with him. and I can understand that story so much better. Everyone's got a story, but I think too many people mash it up way too much and confuse people.
Yeah, and I think storytelling is very simple. And here's the important thought process that I want you all to think about. Right, what Ed's saying, what I'm about to say is, when we hang out, like you and I, so let's look at it this way, right? So you and I say we go to a convention, we see each other, hey, let's catch a drink later. So we sit down, we're bullshitting, and we're telling each other stories. I'm not sitting there telling you this is what I did today. No, we're talking about different things and we're telling different stories. For me, if I'm walking through someone's house that I want to list and I see something about baseball, I can't stop, right? I'm a baseball nut. I love baseball. I know more about Yankee trivia than I should. I'm a big Yankee fan, right? I know about trades that happened in the 60s and the 70s. I also am very fortunate that I have a very good friend that used to work for Major League Baseball. He would call me up about trades that never happened or why trades happened. So for me, I just told you a story of my life of why I like baseball. I just told a story.
Yes.
It's the same shit. We live in stories. And just to take it one step further, if anybody knows what the best-selling book in the world is, always has been, do anybody know what that book is? It's called the Bible.
I was just about to say, yeah.
And
Bible.
what is that filled with? Stories. I'm not getting religious on you. I'm just telling you the book is filled with stories.
That's right.
It's the best-selling book in the world. So I want you all to think about what your life is. When you call that for sale by owner, when you're DMing them, whatever, it's all about a story. We live our lives in stories. So why is it so hard? Well, I don't know what to say.
That's right.
That's why I go off on that because it's so simple, I think. But you know what? I get stuck too sometimes,
People think that they don't have a story. That's another one. I don't have a story. There's a story somewhere hidden and dug down. Ask your friends. That's what I did in the beginning. I asked my best friends, guys, what do you think my story is? And I heard it from them from an outsider's perspective. So if you want advice on how to build up a story, ask your best friends. Ask your close colleagues. Ask them, hey, from first thought, what do you think my story is? Like if I were to guess what your story is, Dave, now that I've kind of gathered a few variables here, I see you're a father. I see that you're a growth leader. I see that you are a business person, an entrepreneurial sport advocate of baseball, and I feel like you're a very big family man and a very adventurous person. Am I far off?
No.
And that's just from gathering a few variables maybe, and I'm sure there's more. But if you were to now sit down with me, we grab a cigar or some scotch one night, oh my God, am I sure that I'll hear a lot about your story and understand who Dave Finale is.
Yeah, you'll also hear me talk about scotch too, but that's beside the point.
There we go. Look at us. Now we're connecting. See?
Right, exactly.
Yes, that's
exactly. So someone was telling me last night that, they're more into bourbons, and they told me where they go and what they're looking for and what they like and what their go-to is when they don't have what they like at the bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a go-to as well, and so that's what we talk about.
That's right.
But it's all a part of our story. It's all a part of what we do.
Amen.
I'm looking at the book, and I'm not sure if this relates to it. It says steal like Picasso and score like Gretzky. I got to ask you that one, and we'll go into something else and keep going. What's up?
Yes.
Talk to me about that chapter.
One of my favorite artists of all time is Pablo Picasso. And reason being is because his story of why he has grown so successful and has created the name that he has created for himself that is still lasting while he is buried in the ground has helped my business so much. How has it helped my business so much? I mean, when he said the famous quote, "Good artists copy, great artists steal," that quote, I don't have any tattoos, but I always say if I were to get a tattoo, it would probably be that. Because that quote has helped me truly revamp my business. How many times are there where you run into that creative wall, that creative brick wall, you're like, I gotta know what to create today. Oh, what do I do?
That's right.
Good artists copy, great artists steal. Go and steal. For example, I will absolutely say my cover for my book, it took me 3 years to write this book. It took me a very long time to come up with the cover, the back, the spine, all this design. And I'm a very big creative. Like, there's a reason I have the Cohiba. See the cigar. Like, I'm very big into this whole world, and I'm thinking, oh, I love this, but I don't know what to create for the life of me. So I went on to books and I started searching and Googling every book cover that was there. And there were so many colorful ones. But then I saw Unreasonable Hospitality, the yellow.
Wow, that is one of my favorites.
And you see the content. It's very right. And I'm thinking, I love how he spread it. This is good. I like that. And then I added my own touch by adding it to the right side of the book, everything about me, right? The little subtitles and all that. So now I took a creative's idea, and it helped me so much just with a book. But this is not just book. There's so many other stories out there that I can keep going with. There are contents that I've created. There are business models that I've stolen. There are mindsets and stories, and the list goes on. And it's stuff like that that has helped me continue to move forward without any friction in my life. And there's one more quote that I'll say that I just recently ran into, and it was, originality is undetected plagiarism.
I love that one too. I mean, we use the phrase R&D, rip off and duplicate, right? And that's one of the things about the people that I work with all over the country is everybody automatically has permission to take their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Take it, use it. I don't even care if you change the words, right? So we've given everybody permission, because let's face it, if I was to take something from Ed Stulak and just copy it word for word, nobody that you know probably would ever see what I put up. Well, now that we're connected, they might,
maybe,
right? So one of the things that I would always do, like for you and me, I would always give you credit, right? But if I'm doing other stuff, like I've used, you have to be very careful. I'll give you a quick story, right? So you have to be really careful when you're doing marketing. You can't use somebody else's listing without their permission, right? So about 15 years ago, I was coming up with 10 years ago, I was coming up with a marketing program about homes lists and stuff, and I needed pictures of houses. And when I started doing it, I was using our own listings in my brokerage, and people would say, "Oh, is that house still available?" So that was a mistake, right? So then I looked all over the country for areas that looked like northern New Jersey. So I would take those pictures of those houses from a different state. I used Cleveland, Ohio. No one would know that house. So I used those pictures because it was more like New Jersey. And that's how I developed some of my marketing, because I used pictures of houses.
Mm-hmm.
No one was ever going to say anything. And that's the same thing with what we're talking about, right? Yeah. It just works. It just works, and there's nothing wrong with it. Ask the greatest coaches, right? Ask the greatest coach. Well, I want to coach, and this has happened to me too. I said to my coach about 10 years ago when I was getting into coaching, I said, people have accused me of sounding like you. And that's kind of my fear, that I'm going to sound too much like you, or I'm going to sound, and this, I'm talking about John Cheplack. Okay. I love John, known John a very, very long time. He calls me an OG. I talk to John all the time. And he said, "Dave, do you think everything that I talk about is original?" He says, "I've got it from my mentors, from my coaches," right? And, that's what we're doing. I mean, I've learned stuff from you today, and just by going through your book, that I'm going to freaking use. I'm going to use it. I'm going to take the Picasso thing. I'm going to take all that stuff. I'm going to use it, right? And if we don't, shame on us.
That's right. This is all stuff that I was taught. This is stuff that I've learned. This is stuff that I've ripped from other books and stories and podcasts and articles and content, and I'm just throwing it back out there. There's no reason to recreate the wheel. It works. Don't try to put a triangle. It'll work. It'll work weird. There's going to be a lot of bumps and all that stuff, but just create the circle. It's already there. Put a different tire on it. Put a different rim on it. Make it look sexier. Make it sound nicer. Make it look nicer. That's it.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I'm so happy to help out.
So, man, I just want everybody to see, this is the book, Expose Yourself by Ed Stulak. It is available on Amazon, which is where mine came from. There's just, look, you know what? You can tell how much love this man put into this book, because it's personal, it's detailed, it's got everything that you need to learn. If you read this book and you can't do it, contact Ed. Here's how you get him. Is on Instagram, right? And then
Awesome.
we also have his email address there, so he's open to talking to you. You know, we've dropped a couple of names of books. I dropped the Fanatical Prospecting earlier, and you dropped, and I want to talk about this really briefly before we finish today. Unreasonable Hospitality, which is Will Guidara, right?
Could be.
Yeah, it is. He is. Do you know the story behind Unreasonable Hospitality?
No.
Get the book. I forget 11 Madison Park, name of a restaurant in New York City, became the #1 restaurant in the world. And he talks about how it became the #1 restaurant in the world, and it had nothing to do. Well, his food was phenomenal, but it had all to do with service. All to do with service. I saw him as a keynote speaker recently, and I mean, just amazing, right? So you dropped that name, so I had to talk about it. And you know what? This has been such a great time. We're up on time now. I want to thank you so much for being on the broadcast today and being, just doing what you do, and I appreciate it, man. Is there anything that you'd like to give to people? I mean, as far as advice or whatever, that you would help an agent that wants to do their lead gen on social media? What would you say to them?
The content that you create, just make sure that you're having fun with the content you create. Make sure it's valuable and entertaining and just something that gives back to people. But most of all, make sure it doesn't feel like a job, because at that point, everything that you do on social media is going to feel like a job. You're not going to have fun doing it, and you're not going to have fun growing the brand that you want to grow. So just enjoy it and do it in a way that makes you happy. That's my best advice. And Dave, I thank you for having me on, especially on a day like today for you.
Thank you. Oh, no, man, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
What a day. Listen, congratulations to you, Big Dad. You gotta.
Thank you. Hey, one of the things I want to say about one of the fun things I find when I do my sessions and stuff, I like to ask people about video, and I say, look, when we come back from lunch, I want you to think of a topic, and it has nothing. I want it to be nothing to do with real estate. You give me the topic, I will do a 60-minute video right in front of you, tying that topic to real estate, and I will post it. All right. If you can do that, I mean, you've got it made. Anyway, that's just a little bit there. Hey, man, I got 2 things left for you. I've got a question and something else. Number 1, how do I, Dave Finale, help you grow your business?
Oh, you did by bringing me onto your community. I love this. This is always good. And of course, the easy way is to ask for referrals over in the Somerset County.
There you go. Hey, man, thank you so much. And as you know, mainstay of the broadcast is everyone gets a hat. I get this hat coming out to you. Your buddy got one last week. So we got a lot of stuff. And I just want to say one more thing. Next week, we have one of my favorite people in the world on, Lee Brown. She is phenomenal. She's amazing. She's got a little bit of a Southern accent. Well, no, she's got a lot of bit of a Southern accent. Lee Thomas Brown. She is an amazing young woman, and she's been in real estate a long time. She's got a lot to talk about. And you know what, man? I want to thank you again. We'll put that back up. Thank you so much. Everybody, it's going to be a great day if you make it a great day. Let's just have a great day together.
That's right.
Hey, man, stay around for a minute. Everybody, we'll see you next week. Nelson, hit it.